All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief. Still working through some tech issues with the morning, but hopefully you got the sound this morning. And we are off to the races on today, which is October 1st. Happy birthday to any specific member of the room. Let's see what that just did. Okay, let's share this back out to where it was. All right. So birthday shout outs, all that sounds good. Thanks, Burner. Sorry I missed your call last night. I went to bed kind of early because I was tired and I wanted to get up early and keep an eye on, see what's going on with PLTR and Asana, which is kind of the themes of yesterday as well as today. Other quarter opening / closeout things. Best quarter ever revenue for Afterburner Financial. That's pretty cool. It's the first complete quarter of the podcast. So in the green for the podcast as far as collecting money. So that is always good. Let's see what else is in the news. Objectives for On Time, On Target for the podcast is I finished up with like 15 interviews where I was being interviewed by others. So I'm taking a break on that. What I have my financial thought leadership series will be coming up in a week. I'm going to get my plan out this weekend for getting the lineup together and then getting those conducted. And again, all 10 of those will release on mid-October, all on the same day sort of thing. That'll get kind of a following out there as well. After that, I'm looking at pretty much 2 episodes a week is where I'm at for timeline, maybe 3. One thing I did yesterday that was kind of cool that I had not done before is when I loaded it up to YouTube, I did a premiere, which went live. It obviously wasn't live because we're live. But when I loaded up to YouTube, so you can go back and come in and check it out later, if you premiere it, it kind of features it on YouTube. So I was actually it opens a chat window so I can sit there and chat real time with people that are watching the YouTube video. So there's some more engagement there that I didn't know was possible. And we're sitting there the whole time waiting for PLTR and Asana to open. So I'm chatting with random folks going, hey, subscribe or whatever. So that is another, when there's days like we have big events like we just did yesterday, then we can, maybe those are days that I can feature. So anyhow, more of a following there. As far as the squadrons, again, that the long term, I plan to have 3 different squadrons. I plan to have the morning squadron, which you're in. I plan to have a Friday afternoon squadron that is, stuff's blinking out here, that is for a week wrap up sort of thing, and maybe a competition for stock picking, like a fantasy stock thing. We shall see. I'm going to punt that till 2021. And then I also want to have an accredited investor class once a week on Wednesday nights, but that's all moving to 2021. I need to get the morning brief kind of filled up so it can mature to exactly what I want. And then that will free up some resources to do some other things out there. And then lastly, for the 4th quarter is I'm trying to get out the On Time, On Target book. I'm at 59 episodes of the podcast right now. You subtract out the 11 or 12, actually, if you include myself, interviews that I did. And basically the rest of those are set up as potential chapters in a book, whether I write that myself or I just write the check for somebody else to pay for it, which I'm leaning towards. Either way, try to get that out by December 15th. So it's on the street prior to Christmas, and then maybe in people's hands early next year. We shall see. That might cost more than I'm willing to pay at this point, but we'll see. All right, let's get on in today. Make sure you have your Q&A window open with all attendees and your call sign set up there in the chat room. We're going to invest with military precision. If you're catching us on replay, if you want to check us out real time, reach out to me at steve@ototnow.com. If you just want to watch the replays every day, they're available on the YouTube channel On Time, On Target. The rest of it is a fighter pilot style brief. So here we go. Mission objectives today, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Specifically, tactically, we're going to talk about how I executed the Palantir and Asana openings and how I advised you guys and how it actually turned out. So I learned a lot yesterday, so that's kind of cool. And then I made some moves, and of course they're in motion this morning. I'm looking up on another screen to see where they are, but they've PLTR has been up to 1035 and it's been down to 960 this morning. So pretty significant moves pre-market. We'll take a look at those closer. The question of the day will be about the FAFSA, which stands for its Financial Student Aid Application, the federal one. That's the first F. October 1st opens that window, so it is now open. That obviously doesn't apply to everybody, so I'll cover that last. If it doesn't apply to you, just check on out, and we'll see you the next time. But if you want to hear about it, I'm only going to talk for about 2 minutes. It is not in depth. I have not filled it out myself. This year's my first year. I now have a junior in high school, so I actually get to fill this thing out and see if I manage my resources correctly going in, and I think I understand it well enough that I did. On what money should be in their kids' hands, what should be in your hands, all that stuff. So we'll see. As far as the flow today, we'll go long, short, open, short, long. We're going to move up the timing just a little bit. I'm going to go spend less time on headlines and a little less time on topic of the day to give us a little more time to set up for the day trading, because as I said yesterday, I have my laptop open and it's sitting here looking at me, and I'm going to have to build in another minute for me to actually set up my own trade tickers. So it's going to take me a second. If we're going long, that'll be fairly easy. If we're going short, I may be doing some learning sitting here. It's been a while that I took one under the gun time-wise. I've taken them, but I have had all the time in the world before. All right, so we're going to shorten things up so we have plenty of time to set up our tickers. We'll do a market review around the world. We'll do the headline review of the day. Long-term PLTR and ASAN are on a screen today, so we'll look at those. Here's our R. I'm going to keep this, so good, bad, or ugly. Whatever trades I take, I'm going to keep the math for the week. So we're up 2 3-hour trades on Monday, so that was a 6R. I suppose I should put MO in or get the nomenclature the same. 6R, we lost one trade on Tuesday. Yesterday, we -1, but the one we took late and then I came back and wrapped up with ended up hitting the 3R point. So we're actually up 7R on the week. So if that's $100 you're risking, that's $700. If it's 350, that's about $2,200 to $2,300. So anyhow, up to you if you participate by just watching along, paper trading, or actually getting in there with real money. All right, we'll execute the market open. I will clear the questions out, which we haven't had a lot of questions. So remember, ask questions. That's what I'm here for. If you have any contingencies, go ahead and reach out through steve@ototnow.com, and I'll have somebody help you out. And if you need to learn more about day trading, go to ototnow.com. There's some resources there. And standard disclaimer applies. This is an educational briefing. You have to do your own due diligence for acting on anything you hear this morning. All right, let's take it on up to TD Ameritrade. We'll look at where we've been as far as the year in review. So there we are. This is the S&P 500. We know we've come in this channel for several months. We know that September was a down month. However, October started pretty well this morning. We're in the green, almost 1% in the NASDAQ. So we'll see, but a little recovery there at the end of September. So that is kind of nice. Zooming in on the 5-day, here's what you see, basically an uptrend for the past 5 days, which you kind of saw from the other chart. Kind of fading here a little bit this morning, so we'll keep an eye on it. As far as earnings out this morning, Bed Bath & Beyond crushed it. That's not a name you would expect to crush it in the work from home, social distancing environment. So they're up 16% this morning. They were sold off pretty hard. STM, which is microelectronics, are up 7%. Pepsi had earnings this morning, and I have not seen a movement out of the stock. This afternoon is IDT, is about the only interesting name that I found out there. All right, these are our charts we'll have set up for while we're here. This is Apple. This is PLTR. That's that huge move I was talking about earlier. And then this is Asana, up to 31.23 and now down to 28. So that's a 10% move down since last night, the peak of last night. So anyhow, these things are in play. We'll look at them again here in a minute. Let's go to CNBC.com and check out our markets around the world. So here we are, refreshing the futures in the green across the board. NASDAQ up 1.33%. Stimulus, good news story, maybe getting that this week. We shall see. The debates behind us, I think we have a winner as far as at the 2-minute point, they're going to be able to automatically cut off the other guy's mic and the camera to them. So you can sit there and squawk around in the dark all you want. So I think maybe we're going to mature our debates from whatever you want to call that earlier or yesterday, 2 nights ago. All right, Asian markets, let's see. Not much changed there. Here are our numbers from yesterday. Pretty good move up. VIX still at 26 or so, so increased going into the election. Pretty well mixed across Europe. Bonds up at 0.7%, so again, trending in the right direction. I like that. Oil still south of 40, though, unfortunately. And then the precious metals, a couple articles out on buying gold and silver for the month of October. Buy it today, sell it on October 31st. That's not my game, but I can't really say there's anything wrong with that strategy. Going to mess around with that. All right, as far as some headlines out there, Ford obviously is making some big moves. The airlines, all of their money ran out yesterday from the first, CARES Act. So they're implementing their layoffs. So we'll see it in here. Maybe, American was laying off 28,000 people, something like that. Jobless claims edging lower. Remember, this number was over 1 million for several months. And now it's back down to 837, still a lot, but 850 was the expected. There's your Bed Bath & Beyond, up 16%. We didn't shut down. Well, we shut down briefly, and then he signed it into law, so probably more of a game than anything else. More stimulus talks. Again, Pelosi and Mnuchin are trying to get credit for being adults in the middle of a bunch of children to try to get something done. We'll see. Nightmare September. I mean, come on, man. So Apple was down 20%. Yeah, that sounds like a bad thing, but you know what? I don't know if somebody just peeled that onion back and said it was up like 140% for the year going into that down 20. Do I care that it's down 20? No. It's on its way up today, so we'll see. It'll recover. Don't sweat your apple. Snowflake got downgraded. It's kind of lumped in with the Palantir and Asana that we're going to talk about, and that is it. Let's hit those right now. So as far as they are too early to be on FinViz yet, so you know what you own. This is PLTR. That's where it is this morning. So 989, 990 is that where we're looking at. So it's up, been trending up. It was obviously over 10 for a while. 725 was where it opened yesterday. First trade was at 10. So we'll go ahead and talk about our topic of the day. So yeah, if you had a limit order, I'd put limit orders in up to 20, 25, that sort of thing, expecting to try to get hosed as the shares dumped out like you do in an IPO. Not at all. Every single account I had shares going into, which is probably 30 accounts or so, that I had ticker set up ready for that initial buy, as well as everybody that I heard from that followed my technique said I got a flat $10. So it looks like it paused there for a second while the market was flooded with all of the outstanding shares. And maybe not all, I don't know. But let's take a look at that. Shares out 1.6 billion. Well, let's look at the volume yesterday. 335 million. So 1.6, 335. Quick math tells you what, 25% of the float out there. So maybe they released more today. I don't know. But if you are a big time investor, you are not locked out. So if you were Palantir executive person, a lot of selling going on. So they're basically taking money out of that market. So they just became, millionaires or billionaires or whatever. So they're taking that money and realizing that's what's keeping the stock down. That can only last so long. Once that exhausts, I think you're going to see it move higher. Downsides though, yep, doesn't make any money. So we shall see. And yeah, sure, could raise 50% in 6 months. It could drop 50% in 6 months. You are not going to worry about this one. You are going to sit and hold it. If it gets ugly, look away. All right, Asana is the next one. So this one had a higher price point up in the 20s. So there was the pop, whatever, not really, right? Because it opened in the 28s or so. So it sold off a little bit. More volume because it opened earlier. Before it got diluted by PLTR's attention took from everybody. They're losing more per share, far less shares out, 154 million versus 1.6 billion. but they're losing more per share. So anyhow, when you go down here for happy headlines, Kramer said it's too expensive, so that's not necessarily good. So it may take a little bit for Asana to march higher, but I have no doubt in it long term. All right, that is all we need to look at there. We'll click on CNBC so I can watch the markets while we go over to the Schwab Street Smart Edge platform. There was a headline between Schwab and TDA yesterday. There you go. That platform should be coming to you. Here's PLTR and ASON. You can, there's their whopping 1 day of trading. So that's what that looks like when you have 1 day under your belt. But Schwab and TDA actually went final. So there's some minor hoops that are still out there, but for the most part, it's going to happen. And now Schwab is saying 18 to 36 months. So you could be off into early 2022 at the earliest for actually seeing your accounts move, if you're not already at Schwab. If you want me to move you over, let me know. I don't want to, but if you want me to, I will, as long as everybody doesn't call me for this at the same time. All right, so let's take a look at some day trading stuff. I put down a bunch of names. I have 9 long names and 6 short names, but I do want to take a look real quick in my normal spot to see if we have anything to add. Once I find it here, maybe I'm not going to find it. Gapping up. It's usually right by the gap. There it is. Gapping up, down. All right, a lot of things are moving hugely. Earnings, you got Bed Bath & Beyond there. STM up 6.5%. That's my number 1 long right now off of earnings. So ticker STM if you want to take a look. The others don't qualify. Airline stuff, not moving enough. Let's see. Stuff on the way down, really nothing off of the earnings. And let's see down into the downgrades. TRTN, I don't know who that is. TRTN is down 9%. And CLI suspends its dividend. Ooh, I like that. CLI, so we might get something to the downside today, but the market is up, so that might be very difficult. All right, let's take a look at some of these individual names. So let's look at CLI first, since I like that thesis. Matt Cali Realty, no volume. Well, that's not going to happen, so disregard. Well, actually, it suspended its dividend, and it's not trading pre-market. So this could be one of these we take right out of the gate short, expecting it to sell off. So I'll probably put that over in the 3rd window and have the tickers ready to go. On the short side, CTIC. Biopharma has the shares down at the $2 point. Not really interested in doing that today. PED. Same thing, low entry point, ALNA. Pharma, low point, TANH. Again, pretty low. SRNE is not a low entry point. That one's been in place. Let's take a look here. All right, 500,000 shares, volume 1115 down to 1075. So down here, it has room to the short side. No headlines associated with it, so it's just selling off. Coming off of yesterday all the way up at 12, so continuing down to 1075. It does have room to the downside, so that's somewhat interesting. Not super excited about it. Tour, TOUR, short. Low volume, low entry point, and then TRTN is the last one for short. Triton International, low volume. So on the short side, I have CLI at the open. If you want to take that, if you want to take our traditional 5 to 10% down, taking something short, it'd be SRNE, except there's no headline. So not the best setups there short. Let's go long. PLL is the lithium company that partnered with Tesla. So this thing's just kind of been all over the map. No real headlines. It's gapping back up. That could go either way. I wouldn't touch it. WWR. Westwater Resources, 3 million shares. No news. Well, there is a news story out there for something to move like that. Why is it not showing over here in top 10 volume though? Don't know. Not going to touch it. Sale, SAIL, Sale Point Tech, 100,000, 40 to 44. So right at that 10% move. Let's kind of see where this chart has been. Forging new ground. See if I can pull the headline out of here. I don't see it. I don't like it since it's already, it's going down up to new ground. NKLA has been, it sold off hard. Remember the CEO resigned. It's kind of bouncing, if you will. So, yep, there's a class action lawsuit. That is standard. I wouldn't even worry about that. So 2048 up to 22. So 2048 up to 22. All the EV names have gone up strong. So I could see this one going higher. It's up, I think, 8%. Nope, it's up 9.5%. So I could see nickel along. I like that. I think it's kind of over the negativity of the CEO firing, and it's got the relationship with GM, which Mary Barra, the CEO of GM, said it's on hold for right now, but they still think they're going to go through with it. So that's a good sign. All right, APM, I don't know what that is. Plenty of volume, low point and low price point, and no news. No thank you. AEG. It's QEG. Let's go with AEG. Low volume, low price point, going to pass. STM is an earnings play. This was my number one from my quick scan earlier. It has the volume. It's gapping up nicely, 30.69. So here, 6.9 up to 32.91, basically top of the chart there. Kind of setting new highs. So a little risk that it's setting new highs. Q3 fiscal year 20 revenue above consensus. Increase of 17.4%. So a lot to like here, and it's a tech name, so it can run up. So that'll be my number one long. Nickel will be my number two. We have SSL, two more to look at here. SSL, oil firm. Not really super interested in trying to catch a bounce in oil. And the last one, DSS, is Document Security Service. I call them a DocuSign knockoff. That's probably insulting, which I don't mean to do. So 14,000, not enough really to trade there. Okay, so I'm looking at STM first, long SRNE short is my second, and then CLI in the third, right at the open. So a lot of risk in taking something like that. And you might not have time to get your stop in. So if you short CLI, you almost have to do it manually with a market order under the hammer. So short it with a market ticker open, and then also have a buy it back with a market ticker open. And if it just goes in the wrong direction, just buy it back. But we'll watch it. All right, let's take a look in volume. Nothing meeting our criteria. Tesla up, but not enough to worry about. Google, Amazon, Shopify, all those names up. That's nice. So we have on the downside, volume on PAR Tech, 9%. What do we have here? PAR Tech. Oh, that's why I skipped it. Public offering of common stock at 38. So it went right below 38. So that's why you can't trade it. Five minutes to go till the open. Fortress value meets our criteria, but we've got enough long. There's our STM up 7%. That's our number one. I like that. And nothing else qualifies there. Bed Bath & Beyond up 23% now. Can't touch that. Nikola up above 10%. So again, that's why I'm not looking at that. PLL above 10, we don't need to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and set up our tickers. Going back to TD Ameritrade. All right, on the left, we have the SPY in a 1 minute. That's good. Taking Apple out of the picture here and putting in STM. Again, that's my primary. That's long. So we'll keep that part just to see how far it's moved up. All right, in the middle, we're going to go short SRNE. Been all the way down to 10.3. We really just need to keep this point on the screen, so we'll kind of look at that. All right, and then the last one is CLI, which will not have moved. So again, cutting their dividend. This could be, again, you just hop in and short. Might be tough to get. We shall see. You may not know until you try to get it, and if you try to get it pre-market, I don't think it'll fill you at all. All right, let's see. We got 3 minutes to set up. Let me set up some tickers over here off the screen. Let's set up for STM. Buy. All right, let's talk. What do we need for stops? 32.9, 30 cent. Let's go 40 cents. Just putting that there to memory jogger for myself, 40 cents. So 30. Do some quick math here. There is my math. All right. And then getting my buy it back ticker set up. Excuse me, my sell ticker set up. STM sell, same amount. All right, so we shall see how that works out there. All right, so we're looking at, get back to my notes. So I can call this 2 minutes to go. We're looking at 40 cents for a stop in STM. SRNE short, look at that drop right there. It actually is not as bad as it looks. SRNE at $10 looks like we will need, normally you get a 10-cent stop. Probably a 15-cent stop since it's a pharma name. And again, that is short. And then, oh, look at this. CLI was leaking up front. So it's already, I would even take it here short. You're going to need a, I would say a 20-cent stop in CLI just to make sure you don't get bounced out of it. It should just fall off a cliff. If you have CLI and you're gutsy, you can market order into it right now so it executes as soon as it opens. That's kind of high risk. I would not recommend that. I would actually wait for the market to open and then go ahead and hit it from there. So we have STM long, 40-cent stop on the left panel, SRNE 15-cent stop, maybe more, we'll see, going into the open. Short, and then CLI short at the open. With the 20-cent stop. All right, 30 seconds to the open. Welcome to the on-time, on-target trade of the day, if you will. You're looking at 4 screens on the TD Ameritrade platform. On the left, you have the SPY. We're going to zoom that in a little bit. That's a 1-minute chart. These are all 1-minute charts across the board. Our number one trade is STM long on an earnings beat. We have a 40-cent stop, so we'll wait for it to open, and then we'll take it, and then I'll tell you the exact stop. SRNE is short. It's already moving down, so we'll have to watch it at the open, and then CLI is a short. You're going to have to take it pretty quick. They cut their dividend. So there's the opening bell. We'll watch CLI first just to see what happens. Yeah, you could mark it in. Let's give it one more move, and then we're going to be in based off of the volume. It's down 30 cents. So again, this is short. Just not moving. I like the way this is setting up here. Market's going long, futures are up long. We need this to move for us in order for it to get in on it. All right, SRNE short bouncing up to this point. That's good. That's a lot of short covering. So let's enter this trade. 1088, I set a 15-cent stop here. There we got some motion. Let's go 1065 short. There it hits it short with 15-cent stop, so up to 1080. There's our stop out. We're in SRNE short. We'll take a look at what's going on in STM here in a second. There's your arrow down to show that we are in the trade. We are in the trade short. This is a 15-cent stop, so the first down is down at 1050, so this is our 1R. We're risking 1R to make 3, so this has to go all the way down to 1020 or so. I'm giving up on that for a second. I don't know what's going on there. All right, how far has this moved? 32.90. Yeah, that really hasn't moved that far. We're going to go with them. We need a 40-cent stop. Does 40 clear all the way down? It does clear. I'd rather this come in some first before going long, but 33 down to 30, we could do that's a 20-cent stop. All right, if it gives me 33 again, I'm taking it long. Duh. All right, if you took it, good for you. I dorked around just a little bit too long there on that entry. So we'll let that go. Let's look over here. All right, what kind of volume? Hard to really tell what kind of volume we have. 13,000 there, 300 there, 1,100 there, 235 yesterday right at the close. You're probably not getting this if you take it short. So, all right, we're in the one trade. This came back, so let's take STM long. We'll take it right if it comes back to. We'll take it at. Daggone it. Stop. 3306 long is where we're taking it. So let me get that in. Stop it. Let go. We're taking it long. Got time here. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. Okay, it's long. We'll let me get my order in. 33. Yep. All right. Terrible. Not as good entry point there. All right, that is in. So I actually ended up here. So getting this. I don't know why this won't draw this morning. All right, long. All right, this trade busted out, so we're down an R there. We are in this trade long at a 3306 entry. And I set a 40-cent stop, but we don't need a 40-cent stop. We only need it down here to 33. That would be 20 cents. Let's go 25 cents on the stop. So 32.81. So 25 cents on the stop is all you need. You can make that adjustment if you want to. And again, we have this long. So 25 on top of this is 33.31. So still off the screen yet to our first R. Market's going north. We're not going to mess with this thing, so I'm going to take it down and start looking around. Let's see how the NKLA did. Again, this was going long. It was up 10%, and it's going higher. That's nice. I like that. All right, let's look at some other names out there. SSL was the oil name. Long. Pretty thinly traded. Not really moving. All right, let's look at some of the shorts. CTIC, these were all, I think, biotechs. That one did not go short, and they're all low entry points, PED. Not really moving. SRNE, we're in Tour, T-O-U-R. Not moving more than a couple cents. And then TRTN is the last one we'll look at. Again, that was a short. Gapping down, not really moving. 25-cent spread there. All right, we'll go back to the CLI. Again, that's the one that crushed their dividend or suspended their dividend, so that's not really acting like you would think. All right, we busted out of SRNE. We are in this trade. 25 cents is the stop, so up to 33.31. So kind of up here. I'll just draw one a little bit short of the target, just so we know when it goes higher. And market's up over 1% for the S&P. Dow's up 0.8. NASDAQ is up 1.3. All right, let's take a look at some other names for long-term investing and see what's up. So psychedelic name is up, nickel is up, DraftKings options are up. You know, that means DraftKings up. PLTR is up 5%. Let's pull that since I think everybody in here got some of it or watched it anyway. So there, it's sitting there right at that magic 10%. So they're, my guess is they would be feeding out more shares at that 10% of the float. So you might see it sit there while a whole bunch of shares go out into the float and then move. That is a guess. We shall see. What's our other name? Asana from yesterday. See how it's doing. Down 5%. So not moving a whole lot though. I know it's a different chart, 15-minute chart. But all right, let's see. Let's go back to PLTR because I know people have more of that. And we'll just watch it while I'm talking on a 1-day, 1-minute chart. All right. So let's see what else is in. Workhorse up 3.7. That's good. Trade Desk, Boeing. There's our DraftKings. Callaway Golf. BlackRock bouncing nicely. Palo Alto Networks, Twitter. So a lot of names. That whole first page is up 1.229 and above. Let's see what's going on the downside. Clickstream selling off by a third. Again, their app came out yesterday, so that's landing with the thud. Northwest Bio down 8. Not even worried about that. It basically doubled in the past month or so. There's ASON on the third place in the leaderboard, so down 5. There's Shell down a couple. So not too many names down. So overall, pretty strong day for the market. So we'll go back and look at our long names. So we're in the green. I would just let that cook throughout the day. STM Microelectronics, no real worries there. All right, let's go, and we'll check back on the trade in a second for our question of the day. Nothing in the chat, nothing in the Q&A, so let's share out. There's a question. Maybe a Monday question. Ooh, it's almost like a teaser, right? Like, can't wait to unwrap the rest of this question. Estate planning, okay, I like it. Gift tax free, yep. Anything above that to the giver is tax to the giver, yes. What I don't understand is there's a lifetime exclusion of, yep, that gifts and assets per year don't require paying taxes until you exceed that lifetime exclusion, yes. So what keeps someone from giving you more than $15,000 a year? Absolutely nothing. So here's what happens. If you buy, a house for your child where you actually like put it in their name, right? If it's in your name, you're not really buying it for them. Like I just bought our oldest a car. It might have been over $15K and it's in my name, so it's not really her car. Now, at some point in the future, I'll transfer that title to her name and that will technically be a gift. I'm telling you, nobody's tracking that in like literally anywhere. Stuff like that. Now, if as a wedding gift, the parents say go in together and they buy a house for the kids, or they gift them a down payment of significance. Then what happens if anytime you give somebody more than $15,000 per year, and that's per spouse, so you've got $30K between the two of you if you're married, you have to fill out a special IRS form that annotates that amount. So nothing happens now. That just simply goes against your estate tax when you die 50 years from now, or 15 minutes from now. I mean, we don't know, but whenever that happens, that is when that math is all kind of caught up. So really, you don't have anything to worry about. Now, where people can get in trouble, and this is a kind of a, when you think 10 million and above level, these are the problems you kind of help folks work, is how to get money down out of their hands. So obviously they're doing everything they can to maximize the 15,000 a year, right? To pretty much every family member out there. It's like, move this down a generation without it being taxed, right? Because it eventually is going to be taxed. And you say, well, 11.58, that's a pretty high number. Well, that number also can change with the stroke of legislation. So it can go right back to $1 million or 2 million, or a number a lot smaller than 10.58, right? So obviously, if there's a divorce in there, you got to factor in some of that. You know that is going to cut it in half. So there's all kinds of math that's going to go into this. But when people think, okay, well, I can give up to over 11 million, it's like, well, I'll start exceeding that now. Well, if you happen to pass away, if the legislation changed before you pass away, you're going to end up, you will have exceeded your lifetime gift exclusion, and at that point, you're off into estate tax planning. So you want to, for most everybody that's in the $500,000 to the $3 million class, I would not try to maximize that at all. I wouldn't sweat it. It's going to get there eventually. It's not going to be taxed. Don't worry about it. If you start knocking on north of 10 million because you bought PLTR yesterday and it triples in the next 6 months, and you bought a whole lot, then that's something you can worry about as far as, later on. But literally, maybe start thinking about it above the 5 million mark. 10 million is really when it's like, all right, we better really start thinking about what we can do to keep it out of Uncle Sam's hands. Obviously, election coming up. Obviously, if Democrats win, you can expect some sort of tax reform. I could see a 11 million, lifetime gift tax exclusion is kind of high, right? There's a lot of us that are doing okay that aren't at the 11 million mark that should probably not be able to just skate tax free at the end of it. But that's an opinion. Don't shoot me for saying that. But yeah, that could come down, and it could come down a lot. So anyhow, hopefully that answered your question there. That was a good question. All right. Over to FAFSA, that's where we were going. I was going to share that out. Not nearly as exciting for the topic of the day, but we'll close with this. So FAFSA, what is it? It says it right here: free application for federal student aid. If you happen to have 5 kids or more, or I can't even keep track of what the latest number is, that kind of family, well, this is a big deal. You need to fill this out. You can get grants. Trying to find where, here it is. You can get grants, that's free money, so you don't pay that back. Work study arrangements where you can get certain, you're performing a function and your tuition is being either partially or in whole taken care of, or you can get a loan. Now, the good part about the loans is, as I understand it, I haven't gone through it personally. I've helped some folks with it, which again is kind of like not fully understanding it because I wasn't there physically doing it. I was coaching them. But if you can go through the FAFSA loans, there's a pot of money that's available there that you get I think it's 5.9%, pretty darn good loan out there. And it's the official student loan from the government. Maybe those are Stafford loans. I can't remember for sure. But if you're in that type of loan, then there are programs after you graduate. It doesn't accrue interest while you're in college. 6 months after you graduate, that's when it starts accruing interest, and you have to start paying it back. If you get into some career fields, then some of that or all of it is forgiven, that sort of thing. So I would not have any problem right now, and I may do this with my kids. I don't know. We'll see. We're still counting on volleyball first, right? But we have money to pay full price if we have to, but why pay full price when there's other options out there? So we shall see. But in my situation where I have a business where a lot of the expenses stay in the business, I can look pretty broke on paper. So we'll see if what we qualify for. If she takes a loan, I've talked to parents about some philosophies of, even if you have the money to pay for the kids' education outright, you might want to put them on a loan for the first year. And that's not really, you're not testing your kid or saying you don't believe in them. You're just saying, kick them out the door, say, hey, congrats, adult. Here's a car or not, and go drive away. Do good in school. Don't lose focus. But yeah, if you blow it, the whole first year's on you. I'm not paying for a year of partying and flunking out, right? So I kind of like that. So I might send a couple of Ankerstar kids out the door with that understanding, but we'll see. And then you can always, again, under the new Secure Act, which was late 2019, you can use up to $10,000 of your 529 to pay off student loans. So there's kind of the math. That's really not a full year unless you're at a community college or local sort of thing. But, or that's a 6-month period to where, yeah, you can kick that, let the 529 accrue. You borrow the 6 months of money and at 0% basically for 4.5 years or more, depending on their degree, and then turn around and pay that off later. And I don't know, maybe that's getting a little too fancy for your liking, so don't do it if you don't want. But that's something I would certainly get out the good old Excel spreadsheet when you think you know where they're going to school and start throwing some numbers around. So, all right, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for listening in. Where's our trade? Our trade's about to bust out, so I will monitor it so we can score keep it for tomorrow. But let me show you the ugliness on this thing right now. So we are here long 32.81. So I'll keep that up until it either hits or did it really just do that while I was talking? So we're out down 2R for the day, so still up 5R for the week. So not a very good day for day one. And I need to kill my trade. So I'm going to let you go so I can get all that taken care of. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.